Hey guys, how's it going? It is 10:45 p.m. on where the hell are we on? I don't know what. I keep on looking at this. It says June. It looks like June the 10th to me. It's this French Canadian BS. Yeah, October 6th. I just got to read it backwards. That's all. I'm like, what? That can't be right. Yeah. So it's Saturday, and man, it's been a long day. I've been out since. Well, no, I've been up since 8. I haven't been out since 8. I think I left at 9. And so nice, almost 13, 14-hour day. Not bad when you get to go out about in a bit. Here, I'll show you where I've been. I'm going to show you the ATCS display. Yes, I know it's live. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to do it. But I'm doing it. So that's the raw data. But anyways, I'll just kind of give you an idea. Ah, damn, I missed that. I wanted to see that. I'll get to that in a minute. I was monitoring the BCPs coming home, and I'll explain what all this is. If you're not too sure, you probably might have seen this before. I'm not sure. Oh, there's... this was another one. I was going to stay out till 11 o'clock, but I decided there was a big lull that showed up. We had a big bunch of trains that come up in the evening, and then it lulled off, so I don't think there's been a train here since I left Brantford. But anyways, between Ingersoll's where I went to today, and normally when I'm in Ingersoll, now what you're seeing in the red ones here are what the servers are picking up. This area right here between Bayview and Burlington West is probably one of the busier areas, except it is no longer ATCS anymore. It is now gone to code line, something that has happened a lot in the States to CSX, except CN likes their ATCS. This isn't a CN. If it was CN, CN would have never bothered with it, except you have GO, which technically is the government of Ontario, subsidized commuter service. And one thing that you learn real quick is, I'll get to this more, basically they're trying to save seconds, literally seconds, for their commuter service in getting a route cleared. So because sometimes they're waiting for the ATCS transmission to go through, the command and the acknowledgement and the actual switch to turn and all this other stuff, they're trying to save as much time as possible, because in a lot of cases they're trying to get into Aldershot, and they're trying to get into this one little section right here. So you get trains going that way, you got trains going this way. They're, needless to say, I guess they spent a lot of taxpayers' money and decided to, I guess, bribe CN that they were going to go to code line, from what I hear. So Hamilton Junction's still on, but forget the Bayview, and Copetown doesn't come in on the servers. Blaine doesn't, Leahu doesn't, Frauds usually does, but you see you got a signal lined up here, you got a signal lined up here. So I think that's the train just came out of that's the it's an OSR, I don't know what the hell that is. Tillsonburg train, piece of hell out of me. Oh, that's the one that goes, yeah, that's the one that comes from Tillsonburg, I think. Yeah, so he's heading off to Paris as far as I know. But yeah, this is what you're seeing here is what's basically the MCP displays, and what's echoing. Some servers actually have both the BCP and the MCP, and to explain what I mean by that, what you get is all these echoes that keep on popping up are CPs, are control points. So every thing here is a control point. Think of MCP, I'm not exactly sure, I believe it's MCP is the mobile control point. I believe that's what it's called. And BCP is the base control point. I could be wrong about that, but you can think of it that way. It's very, very easy. Now, what happens is the MCP will transmit what's happening at this control point. So Brant Junction just transmitted, said it, there's nothing going on. But it'll tell you where the trains are, like Brantford. The last indication was at that time, and it basically shows that the train is going through between Brantford and Hardy right now. It'll tell you the signals that are lined up. Like Glenridge just went out because it hasn't, the last one was 5 minutes ago, so I have a 5-minute cutoff on here. So if I don't get an indication in 5 minutes, it just blanks out, and then you lose the indication. It has nothing to do with what's happening in the field. It's just that's the server's no longer picking it up. So here's what happened, which was really cool. When I go to Ingersoll, I know, and I've had ATCS for over 10 years. This is the way I used to do things. In fact, the way I used to do it is I would sit over at Burlington West, which I no longer do because it is... They're really tightening down on trespassing there, and apparently that is trespassing because it's railroad property, even though it used to be a passenger station. But anyways, I digress. They take old passenger stations and make it their own property and say, screw you, rail fans. You're not around here. You're not allowed around here. And then they send their little dogs and give you warnings, and despite the fact that you're the one that's basically the eyes and ears of keeping people safe, they give you a hard time and tell you to go, you know what. So I said, fine, I'll leave. I'm not coming back. I'll just stay away. No problem. Whatever. And ever since 9/11, it's gotten worse. Used to be not a big deal, but anyways, I digress. So, see, Brantford's not transmitting anymore. So what had happened before I got hung up on that rant? Let me focus on the positive stuff here. What the MCPs are doing, as I said, they're in the field. So what happens is Lehu is... I was 1 mile east of Lehu today. I actually went to see a friend who lives in Beachville, Walter, and I'm trying to get him set up to ATCS. Now he monitors ATCS from his home. The way we used to do it is you get mobile internet, and you would be able to, if you have Wi-Fi access, you have your laptop with you, you'd be able to pick it up. And that's what I used to do. I used to pick up the servers. So like I said, I've been doing this for years. I used to be down at Fostoria, you name it, and I could pick up whatever Wi-Fi server I could find and get it. And with this 5G rollout, maybe that's where everything's going. Although I'm not so impressed about 5G because 5G has some health issues, but I won't get into some conspiracies because I don't want to, because not everybody believes that, but you know, there's enough information out there about what 5G can do to you. But anyways, so that being said, I know that I can get Lehu MCP. What happened was about 6 months ago, maybe a little less. Actually, it was only about 3 months ago. I picked up a USB digital radio receiver, dongle they call it, and that is how I can go out in the field now and pick up with a very cheap antenna, which probably means that I'm not picking up every MCP when I'm in the area, but in most cases I'd pick it up pretty good. So I'll sit 1 mile east of Lehu at the station here in Ingersoll, even though it shows it's 1 block away. It's actually in this block right here. That's where the station is. And the signals are right at the station, so this block, so the platform's really right here. But anyways, we'd sit at the platform at Ingersoll, and I could see all the signals going this way. Now, of course, you can see the intermediate signals, and you can tell a little bit from the intermediates, but you can't tell everything, especially when a train's coming within the advanced approach and the actual approach. So you get a double approach that will show up when a train's getting close, which is, you know, really good. Gives you an extra amount of time to, you know, pay attention and you know, see what's going on, and warn people if they're trying to run across the tracks or with their kids or some stupid thing. And like I said, that's what rail fans do. I mean, rail fans aren't trying to cause problems. They're interested in trains and trying to watch out for mischief that's going on, basically. Generally, most rail fans will do that, such as myself. I try to mind my own business for the most part, but, you know. So, I was driving home afterwards. Well, what happened was, you know, afternoons are pretty boring for the most part, but we saw 4 trains for the day, so it was pretty slow day. Well, what happens is, I know around here the evenings get very interesting, and things start picking up. And what I knew would happen was, I was intending, I knew Walter was going to go home, you know, have supper at his place, and I was going to head out, and I headed back out to Ingersoll and saw a couple more freights. And once I saw that, I decided, well, let me see if I can pick up Blaine. And there's also a diamond in here. I tried doing that. I couldn't pick it up for the life of me. Despite it's not showing you here, I could have found the indication. I could not get it to pick up. And Blaine is on the east side of Woodstock. It is very difficult to get near it, let alone at it, at least from what I can tell. So I did manage to get Paris West, though. That was the first time I tried it, and I went down, but it was already dark at this time, so so it was nice to pick up this. But here's the thing: is you only pick up. I'll give you another example here. I think it was a couple weeks ago, my son and I were over at Milton at Millbase, and we could pick up both Millbase and Ash MCP. And we were even driving along roads that were even a mile, maybe half a mile away from the tracks towards Burlington. And we would, not only would we start picking up Ash and still picking up Millbase behind us, but we start picking up Tansley. So you notice the server isn't picking up these 2 locations just because it wasn't. Now, I wasn't picking this up, but I'd be able to pick up these 3. So having mobile gives you the added advantage of being able to pick up things that perhaps you wouldn't get from even Wi-Fi or a server, just because there's not enough coverage. There's plenty of coverage to give you the whole story. Of course, this area is dead, as I said. Now, I can't demonstrate what happened next, but what happened next was really cool. First of all, let me explain the situation with Brantford. For whatever reason, and I think the issue, I still don't know what the issue is, whether it's my antenna, whether it's my setup, whether it's a cheaper laptop, I really don't know. Walter has a little bit of a different setup, and I couldn't even get him hooked up to get Lihu, let alone anything else. But what I have had a difficult time is getting anything. This is the city of Brantford. I cannot get any of these 4 MCPs for the life of me. Now, before Brantford went down, it actually went down 1 week after I got the dongle. You talk about, had I known that, I may have not have gotten the dongle, and I never would have done the mobile ATCS stuff, and I would just stick to the servers. But 1 week after the dongle, that's when they switched over to the code line. Would you believe it? But the last time I was at Burlington West, when they basically told me to take a hike, and they saw the ATCS display, and they thought I was up to mischief or something, and I had to explain to them. It's like, no, I'm not. I said, I can show you all my magazines. I said, you can check my record. I crossed the border. You want to see my passport? You know, I'll show you anything you want to see. I said, you know, but anyways, they're just doing their job, and they didn't know what a rail fan was, and it was actually local police, but one used to work for the railroad. So anyways, I don't want to get into that, but what was I saying? Yeah. So 1 week after this was gone. So it kind of sucked. But I tried something different today, and that was I tuned into the BCP frequency. Now, normally you won't see, you'll see a lot of information, but it won't show up on display right away. However, this is where it gets really interesting. I'm sitting here at the Brantford station, and I could see information coming across my the data, and this is the data. I could see information like this coming across of various control points and other odd information, miscellaneous information, I guess. But suddenly, I was starting to get some of these going blue, and then some of the signals were starting to flash green, and I was like, and I knew what it meant, because what happens is when an MCP flashes like it just did there and that one there, what it is the MCP is communicating with the BCP. So the mobile is communicating with the base to tell them, hey, every minute this will contact the base, or it will contact the base if a situation changes. So if a train comes through here, this train that comes here, for example, as soon as he comes up to Paris West, as soon as he hits this block, this thing will transmit again. And we can watch that just to show you what I mean. Well, see this one here, like London Junction. That was new. Anytime there's a new update, I think that was new anyways, because I don't remember seeing it there. Anytime there's a new update, so if there's one, like I said, this train could be at Bayview right now. But this area, it doesn't show anything, but Hamilton Junction will show an approach block here. So anytime there's a new update of information, like this one, I don't know if that was clear, but it probably was, but it will end up not only contacting the BCP to tell them the status has changed, which is basically telling the office or the dispatching the center, hey, your indication has changed. When it does, what ends up happening is like this will come up, this will flash, it tells the base. It works the other way around too, because these are indications, and every 60 seconds it will give you an indication at every control point at certain seconds. They're all timed so they don't flood the BCP. They come at certain times, so one will come, then one will go, then one will go, like Hardy just went. But what I can't show you here, and hopefully I can show you in the field, maybe I'll get my camera out tomorrow, I'm not sure yet, don't quote me on that, and if it still works, because I haven't used my video camera in years. What I'll do is I will take my son's laptop with me, and I will go out into the field tomorrow evening somewhere. Maybe I'll go out towards Mill Base, maybe I'll go out to Brantford again, and I'll show you what it looks like. So what happens is if a new signal was lined up, I can't see one in particular here, Glenridge is still the same, but let's just say a new signal was lined up. This would turn blue, and these lights would start flashing. It's kind of like how Train Dispatcher 3 does it. It basically, what it is that's what they call a control, and that's when the dispatcher is trying to send information to the mobile that, hey, I want a signal so I can get through. That's what that's all about. Well, if you're patient enough and you sit in an area long enough, especially when it's busy, not only will you be able to see how the dispatcher is lining up various signals, but you'll also get a pretty good area because the towers are usually spread out for about a radius of this. For example, there is a BCP tower at Brantford. This is probably why I'm having a hard time picking up MCPs, because they're so close, they're so fine-tuned to this tower that they don't need to have a wide band. They don't need to go across a wide spectrum of to get through interference and stuff like that. Like this one, see, this one just came up. So what happened at Hamilton Junction, as soon as he showed up, this, not only would it update every 60 seconds, but the MCP would do that. Anyways, ditto with that one. See, he's moving. When you're monitoring the BCP frequency, you do not get to see the trains, but what you do get to see is the controls, and the controls that are sent that basically tell you that, hey, you've lined up a signal. So what would have happened was when these signals were cleared, all these would turn blue and these would be flashing green. When the train actually goes through, like say right here, notice how that knocked down the signal to red? What actually happens is that happens on your display as well. So if you're monitoring BCP frequencies, now I'm not too sure if this happens with all setups. It happens at least for this one that I have seen. What will happen is this will give you another blue update, and it's not a control. I don't know exactly what they call it, acknowledgement maybe, that the signal has dropped, or either that or it's giving you acknowledgement that the that you've received the indication that it's changed or something in the field. I think that's how it works, but I'm not positive. That last part I'm not sure, but I do know how the controls work, and that is you're basically, the dispatcher sends a command to clear, either change switches or clear signals, and you can see the switches change as well. You can see all that information actually shows up on the BCP frequency. So from Brantford, I was able to monitor this entire area from mile, I couldn't get Blaine, but I could get mile 32.6 to 10.9, which basically covers all the entire Dundas sub from at least the start of the Dundas sub. I couldn't get Bayview because, well, obviously that's no longer in existence anyways. But you get Copetown through to Brantford, which is, 13 miles that way, and then you get another 10 miles or so this way, sitting in the parking lot at Brantford. Now what was really cool, see, Brantford's not coming in off the server. It's kind of in a tough area to get. So the server doesn't always get an update. When I sat in the parking lot at Brantford and things were getting really busy and there was trains going east, west, there was a switcher trying to get out, the whole thing, what ended up happening was I could see when the dispatcher was lining up a signal about 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds prior to the actual signal showing up in the field. So it would go blue, this thing would go flashing green on my screen. I would turn around and look at the signal at the wayside, and I would watch it. 5 to 10 seconds later, boom, the light goes green, or whatever indication it would be. Like if it was only going to Brant Junction or Massey's, it may only go yellow, or green over red over flashing green, which is a clear to limited, I believe. I think that's the indication they get if you only come up to Massey's, or you get it if you're crossing over at Massey's as well. So, but it was really, really beneficial. And even as I was driving home, I was on the 403 and I was still being able to pick up as trains, as these things were, the last train that I saw head east, as soon as it clears it, basically the signals go out. This will stay blue, and you can tell when the signals are dropping. You won't see the trains monitoring the BCP frequency like you do here, because this was monitoring the MCPs. But what you will be able to see is a bit of a bigger picture when you're out on the road, or mobile, or whatever. You'll get to see a bigger picture of what's going on in your area. And if you're in a more complex area, you're going to get to see all kinds of things going on. So there's a lot of really cool stuff with that. But that's all I wanted to say tonight. It's 11:09 p.m. I really should get to bed and try to decide what I want to do tomorrow, because I mean, this is pretty good. This was going to turn out to be a weekend. I hate not seeing my son on long weekends, but I get to see him on Monday, so I got a funny feel I'm going to be doing the ballast sub, monitoring the BCP frequencies as opposed to the MCPs, just to be on the safe side, because I can certainly pick up more driving along Highway 12 as opposed to Highway 11 coming back on a holiday weekend. Monday I will not be dispatching. I will not be on the server, the Southwest server, guys. So I got to post a message about that as well, because I don't think they're aware that it's a holiday and I'm not going to be there. So I have definitely, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not too sure if I'm going to go out tomorrow and try it or just take the day off. I'm debating between, I'm kind of flipping between the two right now. I kind of want to go out tomorrow night, maybe. Maybe get an early supper. Wanted to go to Swiss Chalet, which is a nice restaurant here, and just treat myself to something, but you know, I think I might just treat myself to go out and watch trains instead. But we'll see. We'll see how I feel. But yeah, that's about it for now, guys. I thought I'd show you this. Maybe I'll do a video and upload it. I'd like to show you what I mean, because I can't show you here. Unfortunately, I can't pick up any BCP frequencies from my basement here. As far as I know, I can, anyways. So, you know, that's just the way it is. But anyways, I'll let you guys know about that, and I'll show you a video down the road when I get a chance to do a little bit more BCP monitoring, probably from Brantford, or who knows, I might even do it out on. I mean, Brantford's more fun. You get to see a little bit more trains than you do here, but I might be going into. I might take my video camera actually with me on the U.S. Thanksgiving. This is the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend, but I get the U.S. Thanksgiving weekend, the Thursday and the Friday. I've taken vacation days. I am looking at possibly going to Bellevue, Ohio now. I've never been to Bellevue, Ohio. Been to Fostoria, I've been through Cleveland, I've been probably around the area, but I was talking to Walter, and he's he might be able to help me out with getting a little bit better rates, etc. He may have some deals he can line up for me. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. I always like saving money, and you know, if I can do that, that'd be great. And Bellevue apparently has got more trains than Fostoria, I'm hearing. So my son might be interested in that. See how this got all lined up just now? Those are MCP indications. The BCP indications, those would have cleared them through, because you got this train going through Paris. So that would have all done that. I don't know if that just did that now or if that was my imagination, but anyways, I think it did. Okay, anyways, that's it for tonight. I am going to try to decompress. It's been a fun day, actually exciting day, to say the least. So looking forward to doing it again. I'm looking forward to Monday as well, and then I'll be back to work. Yeah, but anyways, okay guys, I'll let you go. I will probably see you again if I don't put a video up early this week, possibly Tuesday. I will be back on Wednesday, probably with a live stream. I'll dispatch on Wednesday as opposed to Monday on the Southwest. Okay guys, have a good one. We'll talk to you later.